today we are gonna try to up my lighting game a little bit. When I first started this channel, I told you guys that I was using a $120 LED panel diffused through a diffusion umbrella, and I still am. And honestly, it's worked out pretty well. It looks good in here, but I'm gonna see if I can up my game a little bit, still with a budget option, because I don't wanna go crazy and go to like the aperture world. But we're gonna see if I can up my game for about $300, which would take my lighting from this to this for under $300. For now though, let's go back to the old lighting setup and we'll talk all through what it's gonna take to pull this off. And let's walk through everything that I'm gonna use and see if we can pull this off. Hey, hit that like button real quick. Maybe think about subscribing. Do the YouTubery that you do so well. All right, as a recap again of what we're currently using, over there is one of these. This is the Yongnuo 600L. $120 on Amazon. And it's mounted on a light stand, but on the light stand there is, what is this guy? It's a Manfrotto headpiece there, and that actually has a hole through it that can mount an umbrella diffuser. Boom that up a little bit, and boom! This is all I've been using. Crank it up a little bit, I can turn it down, got a nice dial on the back, and comes with a remote control. I like that. I can do this, I can turn it back on. That's pretty nice. Now, my main gripe with this setup is that there's no focusing of the light. Light just goes everywhere. It's diffused and it makes it look nice and soft on my face, but it just goes everywhere. So I can't really control the light to say, I want this and maybe what I'm talking about to be lit, and I don't want my background lit. And if I was trying to take this light and put more diffusion on it and a grid and all that different stuff, it would lose too much light. It just doesn't have enough power to do that. And that's where this light comes in. This is the Falcon Eyes LPS 150T. After my video on the Falcon Eyes F7s, they sent this thing over and said, hey, try this one out also. And it's pretty decent. We're gonna test it together. Okay, this light is a 150 watt daylight balance 5600 Kelvin LED light. It's putting out 18,400 lux at half a meter, has a Bowens mount on front, a super quiet fan, built-in power pack, and it's only $279, which is crazy cheap for a light this powerful. For comparison's sake, the Aperture 120D Mark II is also a daylight balance 5600 LED. It puts out 30,000 lux at half a meter, has a Bowens mount, has a built-in fan. The power brick is separate, so there's a whole nother piece that you need for that light. But that light is $749. So this light is a third of the price of the Aperture light, but it puts out 2/3 as much power, which is a pretty good value proposition. So let's dig into this light a little bit. We'll see if it can stack up as a replacement for this. I'm pretty sure it can. And then see if moving to that aperture actually makes sense versus just sticking with something like this. Maybe this can just do everything I need in a small studio shooting environment like this. Okay, first up is build quality. It's decent. It's not shockingly robust. Hang on, I'm gonna put on this light stand. Okay, as far as build quality goes, it's good. It has a aluminum housing, which is nice. The back handle here, this is all plastic. The dials and the gauges, they're good. They feel nice. I would say they feel like they're on the lower end, but this light is on the lower end. One really nice thing is this really tall yoke. So that means that it can angle really far down, unhook that, and it can angle straight up. That's really nice. And on there is one of those kind of ratcheting yokes, so you can crank it down and tighten it, and then if it's sticking forward and you're like, I want it to stick down, you can just pull it out, turn it down, and then let it go back in, it snaps back in place. Nice touch. Then those controls on the back, they're pretty basic. You've got a menu button, an enter button, an up and down. You have DMX in, DMX out, your power supply, and your on-off switch. That's it. Basic, but useful. Notably though, this does not come with a remote control. So my $120 Yongnuo panel comes with a remote control, so I can turn the power down, or off, and I can turn it back up. But this light doesn't have a power, which will be kind of a pain in the butt if I have it boomed up here. I have it up at an angle looking down, then I decide I need more power or I need less power. That'll mean I'll have to boom it down, change the power, and then boom it back up. Kind of a bummer in that department. And then flipping around to the front, there's a cover that comes on there. That's, you know, kind of nice. Pretty cheap plastic. And they give you a really good reflector. I actually am super impressed with the reflector that's included in a $279 light. Just locks right on there. And there's that LED chip in there. It's a large LED chip. And then lastly is the power cord. And you'll notice there's no giant power brick, there's no power controller with different dials and heavy that you have to hang on the light stand. It's just a power cord. I don't know how they're getting this much power out of a light without all of that, but that's nice, and it's a pretty long power cord too. And for today's purposes, I'm gonna put a parabolic softbox on here. We're not gonna use this reflector piece because that's what I ultimately wanna use here. The parabolic softbox that we're using today is not the one that I would recommend to you. I have some issues with this one, but I'm getting another one next week, and I'll let you know if that's the one that I would recommend. This one though, for sure not. Even though it's a really popular option. This is the Godox P90L. It's a big parabolic softbox, and I've got a grid system on there. So this will at least tell us if this light is any good, but I don't think that this softbox is great. This. And boom, whoa, that's big. Hang on. Yeah. All right, here's the light we're gonna use. It's a bit of a size difference with this light. This light, pretty easy, pretty shallow. This one, much deeper of a light and in general a bigger setup. But also in theory, this is gonna be way higher quality and I won't have so much light on that back wall. I really want that back wall to be a little darker and I want the focus to be more on here and what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna switch out the lighting setups now. And boom, there it is. This is the LPS 150T Falcon Eyes light through a parabolic softbox with a grid on it. That looks way better. See, the light is really soft. It's very soft light, but also because of the grid, it's very directional. Now everything back there is dark and everything I'm talking about up here is bright, which makes a world of difference when I'm talking about stuff on this screen. And see how everything back here is dark on this one? Before it was pretty bright because light was just going everywhere, but now I'm saying I only want the light right here on me. I want that nice and dark so that my subject really stands out. And again, while I wouldn't recommend this softbox in particular, this light through a parabolic softbox with a grid, I would recommend. This light's only at 50% power right now. It can go way, way brighter, but I don't need that at all. This shot looks great. I can bring it back in. There it is. That looks great. That I'm very pleased with. For a $279 light, that is super impressive. This looks like I'm using a Aperture 120D. Like this is a super quality light for a third of the price. It's hard to argue with. I feel like in a small space like this, if the light is gonna be nice and close to you, you don't need a ton of power. Yeah, my only issue though is that there's no remote. I don't have just a little thing like this to go on, off, maybe change the power. I would pay 40, 50 bucks extra just for that feature alone. And by no means am I saying that this light is better than something like the Aperture 120D. I know that light is more robust. I know it has more power, but for someone that's on a limited budget, I think this is a great option. I'll get my hands on a 120D at some point and we'll do a comparison test between these two in this scenario and just light them from two angles, and I don't think you could tell the difference in light quality. All right, there it is. This is the new light setup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you see the light quality difference? The difference between just using something like that where light's going everywhere The light quality on that light isn't as specific. This has a CRI of 96, which means that it's very color accurate. It's actually putting out daylight balanced light, where that thing was always a little yellow. And also, do you guys like the fact that the light is really only here? It focuses you in on whatever I'm talking about, as opposed to when everything was lit up, it didn't really draw that focus into the center here. So let me know what you guys think, but in my mind, this is the new light setup. Henceforth, going forward, this is what this channel will look like. Again though, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and remember, be a good human out there. Please.